Love Island said, let me listen to the fans and make Alandria and Nick a couple. Now, the way y'all teased Jeremiah also being there really had me on the edge of my seat, but please don't play those kind of games. And baby, when Taylor peeped that Alandria was in the villa, he showed his real colors. He showed us how he's really thinking, because tell me, how do you have a connection with Clark that you just met in 24 hours and it's stronger than what you had with Alandria for the past couple of weeks? The truth is, you don't want that girl and you've been stringing her along.
Kay Unscripted, no teens restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kay and this is Kay Unscripted, the place where we break down all things reality TV. Today we're getting into Love Island season 7 episode 21, and y'all, I'm not really feeling like myself. Hopefully as I'm doing this recap, I feel a little bit more like myself. You know, we all have those days. But before we get into all of the shenanigans of this episode, please go ahead and like this video. It's going to help me a lot. And if you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to have you. And hey, hi, what's up to my subscribers? Thank you so much for being here with me on this journey. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more recaps like this one, and let's get into it. Now, we know the episode ended with Nick running to the jeep with Alandria, and to think that they would have taken us on the journey to find out where the hell they went or what happened, but no, of course, because Love Island is going to make us wait, right? So we head back to the villa, the main villa, and Taylor and Ace are having a chat. They're literally moaning. They're literally mourning Nick not being in the villa anymore. They're talking about him as if he passed away. And I'm just like, y'all are so dramatic. Until Ace kind of snapped out of it and he's like, why are we talking about him like he passed on? And he's saying he doesn't know how he's going to give the news to Sierra. Ace is low-key upset because Jaden didn't pick Nick. And he's like, why didn't she stand up for him? Now, if she stood up for him, that means that Austin would have went home. Do I feel like they would have been sad and crying the way they were for Nick if Austin went home? Absolutely not, because I'm sick of Austin too. I'm sick of seeing his face and hearing his voice on my screen. But anyways, he's sitting with Jaden. He's checking in on her to see how she's feeling. And she said that she feels terrible. Austin is telling her, well, I'm just grateful that you picked me. I'm grateful to still be here with you because I like you. He also tells Jaden that he hasn't had anybody that he really wanted to couple up with. And that's a lie, because we saw you saying the same thing to Shelly. You really wanted to couple with her. But of course, because you saw Shelly was more interested in Ace, you kind of backed away and you were in your head and in your feelings about that. You did say the same things to Amaya, that you were so happy and excited until you felt like she was too much for you. So the fact that you're saying the same thing that you said to two girls to Jaden, it's not out of character. This is what I expect from Austin. Back at Casa, Amaya is a little bit crushed because Alandria just went home. She tells Zach that she did expose to Alandria what went down between the two of them. And Zach is saying that he really felt some type of way, but at the end of the day, he went with his gut. And if he did not pick Amaya, she would have been the one going home. Now, baby, Amaya be making her own dictionary, because why did she say coming into Casa, it was an opportunity? I cannot tell if it's cute or if it's funny or what the hell. Not opportunity. Anyways, Zach tells her her emotions are all over the place. So go ahead and drink some water, relax, take a nap, and maybe let's regroup tomorrow because this is too much. Now they decide to fill us in on what's going on between Nick and Alandria. We see them driving off to a beautifully decorated forest kind of place. That's the best description I can give. But there's a beautiful candlelit dinner for Alandria and Nick. And I'm like, okay, so I've been seeing around that there's this Nicolandria stan happening. Is this what Love Island is trying to make happen? Because that's what it's giving. And then the commentator made a joke about Jeremiah being the waiter. And I'm like, dude, don't give those kind of jokes, because we really wanted Jeremiah to come back but it's not looking like he's coming back. Nick tells her, girl, I thought I was taking a flight back to Florida, but then I see you in the Jeep and I'm like, oh my God, I saw your smile and I was like, my queen. Now, have we ever heard him speak like that to Sierra? I don't think so. So anyway, Nick tells her, fill me in what's going on at Casa. So Alandria is telling him Shelly has this nice guy and he's 6'8". And Nick is like, oh my God, that is something because these are two big personalities. She tells him that Sierra is also connected to a guy named Elan, and she said that Elan kind of reflects Nick. He looked a little bit taken aback that Sierra was connecting with a guy. But I'm sure if Jaden did stand up for Nick, he wouldn't feel any type of way about Sierra because he would definitely want her to explore connections out of him. Alandria tells Nick that his conversations with Sierra are a little bit more fun and playful as compared to what she has with Elan. It's giving power couple. Nick says he feels a little bit worried because he did want to explore his connections and he's like, I didn't get someone. She now is connecting with someone. So that has me feeling a little bit worried about what's going to happen. But I was the one who said I would like for us to explore other connections. Now, Nick tells her, do you want to know about Taylor? And she's like, yes. He's like, okay, Taylor is my good friend, but I'm putting all that to the side and I'm just going to be upfront and honest with you. In the beginning, he was coupled up with Coco and Clark was my couple. She decided to pick him and they have this emotional and physical connection with each other. Taylor is definitely feeling her in that way. And for the first time, I can see Alandria kind of processing in her head, like, did this man play me? Nick also tells her that with her, Taylor was a slow burner, but with Clark, it's definitely giving that there's something going on between these two. And she's like, got you. Now, I hope this is a wake-up call for Alandria because she was very closed off in Casa, not giving any of the guys a chance and being so focused on Taylor. Meanwhile, Taylor doesn't give a shit about her. Meanwhile, Taylor is at the villa all googly-eyed, telling Clark he's so thankful for her choosing him and he's giving her eye contact. He's looking like he wants to kiss her. Then we see Alandria back with Nick. And she's saying from day one, she's been Team Taylor. And if he wants to throw all of that away for a girl he just met and he's more into the physical, then she's fine with leaving the villa single with a smile on her face. Now you could tell that she's really upset because she wasn't expecting to hear that from Nick about Taylor because it was a complete switch up. We all saw it. And so she's like, well, you know what? If that girl is able to do that, then he was never my man to begin with. Now back at the villa, Taylor is talking about cuddling with Clark and he starts kissing her and you could definitely see the difference between the way he kisses Clark as compared to what he has kissed how he has kissed Alandria, because it's always been so awkward and it's always been like, okay, you want a kiss, look a kiss, ma. But with Clark, it's definitely giving passion. Now, I'm not mad at the guy for exploring his connection and actually seeing that he has a connection with Clark. But I wish he would have been honest with Alandria from the beginning because he was literally trying to force it and making sure that he stays in the villa. I feel like that was his motive of keeping Alandria at bay. Maybe she's the one who likes him more than... Definitely he doesn't like her as much as she likes him. And now that he's gotten what he wants, he's going to stick with Clark. Now, while Alandria is trying to process what Nick just said to her, Nick gets a text that reads, Alandria and Nick, you have a choice. You can remain single, but you must leave the villa tonight, or you can couple up and return to the villa together. So anyways, they decide that they're going to go to the villa, and just as they're probably about to head out, Nick takes Alandria's hand and he tells her that he's always wanted to get to know her, but they just haven't had the opportunity to have these conversations, and you could tell that she was clearly taken aback. But Nick tells her that this is an opportunity for them to explore, and she's like, I've always wondered if there's something between us because we've always been picking each other in the challenges before to kiss. And so I'm like, okay, is there something going on or is there nothing happening? Now, one might say that they're faking it because they want to still stay in the villa, but who am I to judge? I mean, Maybe if I was in Alandria's position or Nick's position, I probably would have done the same thing because I still want to be a part of it. And of course, to throw it in Taylor's face, like, I'm here. Let me see what you were about to do because I'm going to be here. But anyways, they decide to head to the villa. Coco checks in with Ace and she's telling him, look, I know it's very difficult for you right now. I hate seeing things go down the way that it did, but I am here for you and I just want you to know that. She tells him that she likes the way that he manages his emotions. And he's like, I'm sorry you had to see that and whatnot. And then he's like, I was a little bit nervous because I thought I would have been going home because I wasn't sure how things were going to turn out, but I'm happy that you chose me. Now, here's another thing I noticed with Ace. He's also hugging Coco. So this tells me that he's definitely into Coco. He's definitely attracted to her because we have this comparison with how he wanted nothing to do with Amaya, right? Back at Casa, Elan is checking in on Sierra. He just wants to see how she's feeling. Sierra says that, it's unfortunate. It could have been any one of them. And especially Alandria hurts because she has been a huge part of her experience. She also tells him that because of what happened, she is now open to the experience and open to getting to know him. Elan then tells her that he loves the way that she deals with her emotions. And now that they do kind of have an emotional connection, he would definitely want to explore more on the physical. Sierra affirms him and tells him that this is definitely something that she wants to, and she's excited to explore that part with him. TJ and Vanna have a little chat in Soul Ties, and the man is just happy to still be on the show. Like the commentator said, TJ is just happy that Vanna chose him and he still has some more time in the villa. Now everybody's getting ready for bed. We're at Casa, and when Shelly is heading upstairs for bed, Chris gives her a flower and he tells her, I know you love flowers, so here, I got you one. She's asking him, well, do you know what kind of flower you just got me? And he's like, no, but how about we call it Shelly flowers? That was such a cute little moment between Chris and Shelly, and I love that for her. Nick and Alandria have arrived at the villa and they're literally sneaking in. So it's the next morning, and at Casa, Shelly's clearly still broken and still sad about the fact that Alandria is no longer in the house. Over at the villa, Alandria and Nick surprise the other islanders and they're like, good morning, islanders. And baby, everybody's shocked. Ace runs over to them. And y'all, is the fact that all of the guys ran over to meet Nick, including Taylor. We would have thought that, oh, I have this connection with Alandria. He would have run to her first. No, he ran and jumped on Nick. Alandria introduces herself to the other girls, and baby, why was Taylor holding on to Nick? Like, where's that energy for Alandria? So the girls at the villa, they're getting their makeup done, and Grayson tells Clark, what if Alandria pulls you for a chat? How are you going to deal with that situation? She says, well, she's just going to tell her that they have a lot in common. And so Vanna tells her, I feel like you need to let her know off the bat that you did share a kiss. Clark says, well, it was actually Taylor who initiated it. And then while they're talking about it, Alandria walks in and obviously they're going to change the topic. But the girls are super nice to her, and she even said to them, I didn't expect y'all to be nice to me because they're telling her we're so happy to have you. Are they being fake? Maybe. Because obviously they're going to be down for their girl Clark, and they know that Clark and Taylor have a connection. Now downstairs, all of the guys are together, and Nick says, listen, I told her everything that has been happening. Taylor's like, okay, I need to be transparent with her from the beginning to the end, but I don't even know how to have that conversation with her. Now, baby, Nick is spilling all the tea. He tells them, okay, she told me about Sierra, who's with this guy named Elan, but Ace, I'm a little scared for you because, bro, guess what? Shelly is with an ex-pro basketball player. He's 6'7", and I'm wondering how my dude Ace feels about it. He probably doesn't care, and it's like, I really don't. Now, one thing about Ace, he's not going to let anyone see him sweating. He's not going to let anyone see when he's feeling some type of way. He's not going to do that. He has his emotions in check. Maybe in private, he's probably processing it like, oh shit, I just lost my girl Shelly. So let me just try to connect with Coco and make sure that we lock in because I still want to be in the villa. But Ace is definitely worried. He also tells them that the text said that they could either be single and go home or couple up and remain in the villa. And so he's letting them know, especially Taylor, that he is going to explore his connection with Alandria. Now back at Casa, Shelly and some of the other girls, they're lounging and she's thinking about her connection with Chris and how much she's into him. She told the girls that he gave her a flower and she was, feeling it. Then Chris walks up to them and he's like, can I steal my girl for a chat? Period. Still her. Anyway, he's checking in with her to see how she's feeling. She says she's feeling a little bit bitter and burned out. He asks her, well, what do you do when you feel that way? What's something that can pick you up? And of course, she said a good snack, and we're down for a good snack anytime. Some brownies and some ice cream. Give me that. I'll take that. I love me some brownies and ice cream. Y'all, let me go find some chocolate. Now they get to talking about tattoos, and this was definitely different from the way she wanted Ace to put her face on his chest, right? Remember that conversation she had with Chase? With Ace. Oh my god, why do I keep calling him Chase? But anyway, he was giving a suggestion that on the ring finger, when he gets married, he would like to have the initials of his wife on the ring finger in case he forgets his ring. It's still there. And she's like, oh, that's fire, but we didn't see too much. So I guess she's still being a little bit careful with how much she does with Chris. She does say that she feels a little bit conflicted because she has a strong connection with Ace, and she's definitely feeling Chris as well. Now, Taylor pulls Clark for a chat. He's checking in with her to see how she's feeling. Clark says nothing has changed for her. She doesn't really care that Alandria is there, so she's good. Now, I would have thought that Taylor would have pulled Alandria for a chat first, seeing that they had a connection before, quote unquote, right? We see a conversation between Alandria and Nick, and she's asking him, well, what's going on? Is it Clark or Coco? Which one does he have a connection with more? Nick tells her it's really Clark, and she's like, oh, she's putting in the work, right? She's my op. Nick says, well, actually, she's just giving conversations to Taylor. You're the one who's been putting the work, right? And so Alandria is like, I know, right? Because I was planning dates, I was doing all of those things for him, and clearly he has a stronger connection with Clark. We zoom back to the conversation between Clark and Taylor, and she's telling him, listen, I chose you from the beginning, you're my strongest connection, nothing has changed for me. Taylor is like, well, let me just let you know that I'm not going to switch up or change anything just because she's here. And the fact that he said that tells me everything I need to know about Taylor. He never wanted Alandria to begin with. I've been saying it from the jump. Taylor just wants to be in the house. Alandria was a safe pick for him to not get eliminated. And now he's showing his true colors. Will the real Taylor please stand up? Alandria tells Nick, okay, I might have Taylor in the back of my mind, but I do want to focus on this connection to see if there's something really there. And he tells her, look, I've always been attracted to you. And I've told you that. She said, no, you've never told me that before. I just feel like you've always been picking me for the challenges, but you've never actually told me what's up. And he's like, okay, that's true. Well, I am really attracted to you, and I really do want to show you the sides of me that Sierra probably sees that you haven't seen yet. He tells her that he wants her to see the more mature side to him, and he starts complimenting her. He's like, from the first day that I saw you, you were the most beautiful girl in the room. I actually did say that to Taylor. And baby, Alandria was blushing because this is the first time that any guy has ever complimented her so much and said so many things to her in the villa to make her feel like she's the most beautiful girl in the room. As compared to Taylor, he never gave her compliments. He never told her how cute she looks, but he's been doing all of those things with Clark. We then see Taylor acting the damn fool, and he irritated me so much in this scene because he dropped his head in the beanbag and he's like, if I don't see her, she cannot see me, and he's being a capital. Let me not call him any names, right? Because he's pissing me off. And just as he's speaking to Ace about Alandria, she walks past with Nick, and Ace is telling him, dude, go talk to her now. And he's like, well, she's eating. I don't want to talk to her now that she's eating. And we've seen Ace schooling Taylor from day one on how to have a connection with a girl. We haven't seen Ace pushing him that way to have any conversation with Clark. He's been doing that on his own. So the fact that every time it comes to Alandria, Ace always has to be pushing him to go talk to Alandria, do it this way, here's how you should do this, maybe you should try this method, is telling us that he is not interested in her. She is at the villa and he doesn't want to see her. He wants to pretend like she's not around. He doesn't want to have any conversations with Alandria. Nick tells him, I spoke to her, she just wants you to be honest and upfront with her, and maybe you don't need to just reassure her. He's like, well, that's what's difficult, because the truth is I have more of a connection with Clark for the first 24 hours than I've had with Alandria. Taylor finally grows some balls and finally pulls Alandria for a chat. He's telling her, look, I do have a really strong connection with Clark, and by the way, we did kiss. Now you could see the disappointment on Alandria's face, because he tells her that he wants to explore his connection with Clark. Alandria said that for her, when she went to Casa, she thought they had this really strong connection, and when she got to Casa, she found herself comparing every chat that she had with what she has with him, and she really just had to tell herself, I cannot do that. Now, I feel like if she really did stand on that when she got to Casa, she would have explored a little bit more with the other guys, because we only saw her chatting with Zach. Unless if it was editing and we didn't get to see her speaking to any of the other guys, then we can say that. But compared to Zach, she was still very closed off. She tells him that she really likes him and she still wants to nurture the relationship that they have. But girl, I'm gonna need you to see it for what it is. Taylor is not interested in you. That man just told you he has a stronger connection with Clark within 24 hours than he's had with you for weeks. Now we see her getting emotional because it's probably going to be hard for her to disconnect from him, because like I said, she's liked him more than he's liked her. Anyway, he tells her that he still wants to explore with her and he's going to be as transparent as he can be with both of them. I don't know why she's feeling that there's still hope for them, but girl. So it's later on in the evening and in both villas, everybody's getting ready. Taylor gets a text that reads, it's time to find out which islanders have the best chemistry in tonight's Villa versus Casa Amor showdown. Now, funny enough for this game, it was both Shelly and Ace in each of the villas hyping up the other islanders. Now, here's how the game goes down. Each of the villas get the same question and they have to perform the response to the question with a kiss. Now, there was a whole bunch of kissing and stunts and all kinds of things happening because this is the game. But ultimately, Casa Amor won the game. It's the end of the game. Taylor and Clark are having a conversation on the dock. He fills her in on the chat that he had with Alandria, and he lets her know that he's still going to explore with Alandria as well as her. He also tells her that it's been really difficult for him. Clark, on the other hand, says that nothing has changed. It's a little awkward, but she pretty much doesn't care. Time and time again, we see Taylor being a lot more physical and more considerate of Clark than he has been with Alandria the entire time. He's kissing. In fact, he took his shirt off so she could sit on it. Then he took it out and had her wearing it because she said she was cold. And had it been our girl Alandria, she would have been freezing. But he's doing all of these things with Clark. He's kissing her again. We haven't seen him kiss Alandria Not once since she's been back in the villa, and he's claiming that they have this strong connection. I feel like he just needs to be upfront and real and just say what it is. It's okay if you're not feeling her anymore, just say that. Nick is checking in with Alandria. He's asking her how she's feeling. She said it was a little bit weird for her. He also asked her how she's feeling since they played the game together, and she tells him we always have good chemistry, so for her that was good. Nick then tells Alandria that her strong personality gets him intrigued, and it's given that he's kind of digging Alandria a lot more than he's been able to tell himself or to be honest about. Now, baby Nick is putting all his game on Alandria, right? He's telling her, oh, I want to see if there's something more outside of the challenge. And I love how Alandria didn't hold back in this moment. They shared a very, very, very passionate kiss. They shared a very passionate kiss with each other, but over at Casa, we see Sierra is still kind of struggling to get physical with Elan because he did ask her for a kiss. He wants to see what it's going to be like outside of the challenge, and she said that her head is still all over the place. She also said in her confessional that she would kind of be upset if she found out that Nick is doing these things over in the villa. When I tell y'all, Nick was so into that kiss, he didn't know what to do with himself. Now, y'all, this is where the episode ended. Tell me what you're thinking about Nick and Alandria being in the villa, them exploring their connection. Are you a Nick Alandria stan? Tell me how you're feeling about Taylor and Clark and the triangle between the three of them, including Alandria. I need to know what you're thinking. Do you think he's still lying to Alandria to her face and to Clark, making them both believe that he has a strong connection with them both when he's really leaning more into Clark? Tell me what you're thinking, because next episode, baby, it's about to go down some more, because guess what? Everybody in Casa is heading to the main villa and a lot of shit is about to go down. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like it, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and I need your help. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.